From the Oakland Hills to Jack London Square, the Port of Oakland to the Coliseum, KTVU presents Talk of the Town, an engaging conversation about the people and issues important to Oakland.
Hello and welcome to Talk of the Town. I'm Dave Clark. It's good to see you, and it's good to see our guest today. I'm welcoming and happy to welcome Eric Jones. Eric, thank you for being here. You're Oakland native, you know about Oakland, and you have good intentions for helping young people in Oakland through a program that you created. Tell me about the program and how it involves water.
Sure. Well, first of all, thank you for having me, Dave.
Yeah.
It's great to be here. Like you said, I grew up here in Oakland, went to Oakland Public Schools, and went to the East Coast for college, but it's great to be back. So the program is Sea Valor, and it's a nonprofit that I started in 2019, originally to help people with PTSD, so veterans, first responders, healthcare workers, using sailboats and water activities. So we have several sailboats, but also things like beach cleanups, paddle boarding, things like that. But over the years, we've been taking out a lot of kids from the Bay Area, from Oakland, Hayward, San Francisco, San Leandro, et cetera, that wouldn't otherwise have opportunities to be out on the water and learn about sailing and boating. And that's what it's turned into a mentoring program.
Yeah.
So we have adults from all different backgrounds, whether it's the fire service or healthcare workers or law enforcement, or I mean, really any career that you can think of, mentoring these kids and just serving as good role models. And it's been tremendously rewarding to see this, to see these young men and women come out and learn about sailing, and we take them around the bay and point out their bridges, and we stop at Angel Island and learn about the biology of Angel Island. So it's been great.
It's a fun way to do something great. How did it come to you?
So as you know, I was involved in 9/11, and over the years I've struggled with post-traumatic stress myself, and in 2018 and 19, two of my friends took their own lives. And so for me, that was a wake-up call that really more needed to be done to address mental health. And I had found that over the years, being on the water, whether it was scuba diving or boating, really helped me in ways that traditional methods like therapy just weren't able to. And so I thought perhaps there's something to this, just the tranquility of being out on the water, but also working as a team, as part of a crew. It forms that companionship that oftentimes is missing. And so that was the idea, that's how it formed. And I started with one boat, and just, so far we've taken out over 5,000 people. And a lot of those have been kids. And it's incredible to see the transformation sometimes when some of these young men and women had never been on the water, never been on a boat.
Yeah.
Living here in the Bay Area, it's somewhat mind-blowing that we can live here people live here in the Bay Area, yet never go on a ferry.
Yeah.
And so to be able to provide that opportunity has just been great.
So Eric, did you grow up hanging around boats, being on boats?
To a small extent. I mean,
Okay.
My dad would take me fishing, Lake Chabot, and we went salmon fishing a couple times. But it wasn't really until I was an adult that I started being on boats myself, through scuba diving and then going out with friends that sailed, that sort of thing.
Where are the boats that where do they come from?
Well, so we've purchased them.
Okay.
And we have one in Emeryville, San Francisco, Berkeley, and Alameda. So they're sort of spread out around the bay.
And we're going to be showing a lot of pictures of you and the kids being out there on the water, on the boats. While they're out there, interacting with them, how are they selected? Where do they come from? And the reactions you've seen.
Sure, so it's pretty much all word of mouth, and we have actually a pretty long waiting list. We're actually looking for other boat owners that would like to volunteer to do this, something similar, because we have more people that want to come than we have boats and crew available. So it's word of mouth. We've worked with charter schools. There's a really great one on Treasure Island called Life Learning Academy, so we've taken out a lot of their students. So we've worked with PAL, Police Athletic League, so they've sent a lot of kids, various other nonprofits. So it's really, they reach out to us and say, hey, can we take out a group of 10 or 15 kids, and And we say, sure, pick a date, and that's how it works. It's really that simple.
Now, I'm sure it keeps you busy because you have to arrange and set up things and be a part physically as well.
Yeah, I mean, everybody that's ever owned a boat knows how much work they are, for sure.
Yeah. How has it changed your life?
It's definitely changed it for the better. I mean, in 2019, my mom had just died. I was going through some personal issues then.
Yeah.
And having something positive. I mean, we all go through struggles in life, right? And so for me, I found that it's important to turn negative experiences into something positive. And so that's what I've tried to do. I've tried to use my past experience, both positive and negative, and find ways to channel that energy into something positive. And it's helped. I mean, it's helped me a lot in ways that the previous 20 years of therapy and groups and all the other things like that hadn't.
Yeah, you're a very impressive man. And I was just sitting back thinking how we met in a restaurant in Oakland. And as soon as we began talking, I said, this guy, I've got to get to know him, and I've got to get him on TV to talk about what it is you're doing and what do you want to do. When you first meet the young men and women who come out to be on the boat, what do you say to them first?
Just say welcome. You know, thank you for being here. A lot of them, it's intimidating. You know, they're showing up, and it's a big boat. There's water. Sometimes they have fear, and so we try to bring them at ease. We introduce the crew, we welcome them, and we really just roll out a red carpet and make them feel special, like it's their day. And the hope is that they'll come out, 4 or 5 hours, and they'll want to come back, or they'll want to come crew with us, which many of them have, or perhaps long term they'll show an interest in maritime. Maybe they'll want to join the Coast Guard or the Navy, or become a civilian boat captain. Yeah. So that's the idea. It's to show them a different path that perhaps they might not otherwise see. Yeah. And something that's positive.
Now, do you take them to the USS Hornet as well?
Yes. That's actually where our office is. Yeah. We've been working with them to form sort of a community mental health center using the aircraft carrier to help break down the stigma of mental health and post-traumatic stress. So it's great. I mean, the people in the Hornet.
I still haven't been there, so I have
to get you there.
I've got to get there.
But it's an incredible venue, and kids love it, and there's so many opportunities to just learn. I mean, that ship has an incredible history. It recovered the Apollo astronauts. It's been in many conflicts. I mean, it's a very storied ship and a heroic ship, and so to be able to have that as a venue to then share these experiences with kids and show them around, it's a museum, as you know. Yeah. So it's great, and the people there have been very welcoming to us and helpful.
I know the focus for the experience has shifted from just first responders and as you began to the kids. Yeah. First responders, do they still want to go out? Do they still want to mentor?
Absolutely, and that was part of the transition. So first responders would bring out their families. And to see the interaction between, I mean, these last few years have been tough with COVID and to see them interact with their family and the kids. And so it became, bring your families out. And then we started working with the kids through the parents and sort of realized that, it was very beneficial for kids as well. And then we started reaching out to other kids that just, wouldn't otherwise hear about us. Yeah. And so that's how that's come about.
Who's easier to mentor, girls or boys?
I think, as long as they have open hearts and minds, I think it's pretty equal. I mean, we have, and you'll see in the pictures, but boys, girls driving the boat, giant smiles on their face, getting in there working the winches.
Steer.
Yeah, if they want to.
The boats.
And I'd say probably 80 to 90% take us up on that. They want to.
Yeah.
And, to see a 7 or 8 or 10-year-old kid behind this giant steering wheel having fun, it's an incredible experience. And it's something that will plant that seed in their mind, and they'll come back and, think about when I was in 2nd or 3rd grade, a friend's dad took me flying up to Tahoe, just one trip, one day. Yeah. But it planted that seed of being a pilot. And sure enough, when I was 17, I took flying lessons, and when I was 18, I got my pilot's license because I had one friend's dad fly me up to Tahoe in second grade.
Mm-hmm.
So it does make a difference, I think.
What do you hear from parents?
You know, overwhelmingly positive. Thank you for giving us this opportunity, especially first responders. And one of the things we found is that people that are experiencing trauma, sometimes or oftentimes you become isolated and you withdraw from your friends and family and coworkers. And so to allow a situation where a dad can bring his son or a mom can bring up her son or daughter and just have fun for 5 hours without talking about school or work, you know, looking at dolphins and whales and sea lions and harbor seals. So it's a unique bonding opportunity for families as well.
Wow. I want to shift just a tad, just to talk about you for a moment. Sensitive area, you were awarded the Medal of Valor.
Yeah.
Talk about that as little or as much as you want.
I mean, it's something I'm very proud of. I wish that it had been under different circumstances, but basically on 9/11, I'd been a paramedic and a firefighter, and I was in graduate school back in the East Coast at George Washington University. And I was driving to class that morning, actually, when the plane crashed into the Pentagon. And I'd sort of grown up in the Pentagon. My father's a colonel. My grandfather was
a great man.
Yeah. My grandfather was one of the original Tuskegee Airmen. So I'd grown up.
Now you can't just pass that. Your grandfather was one of the original Tuskegee Airmen.
Yes. So I grew up going to all the conventions.
Yeah.
You know, I have pictures of me sitting on General Davis's lap when I'm 7 or 8 years old. So he was a mentor to me. In fact, all the Tuskegee Airmen were my mentors. And every summer, my grandparents would fly me out to whatever city the conventions were that year. There was one in San Francisco. And so I had hundreds of mentors growing up that kept me in line. And I needed them when I was a teenager. I mean, I had friends here that were sort of going in one direction. And so I needed them to straighten me and, keep me straight and say, don't do that, don't do this. But not everybody has that opportunity. And so that's, I think what I'm trying to provide is something similar to what I had growing up. But back to your original question. So I was familiar with the Pentagon. I thought it was a truck bomb or something. I didn't know it was a plane at first because I was on the other side when it crashed. But I saw the giant fireball and I pulled over and ran into the building and carried some people out. And then spent 4 days on the mortuary affairs team recovering the bodies of those that had been killed. And then after that, I spent some time up at Ground Zero. So when I came back from that, I was having some emotional and mental nightmares and not being able to sleep, some health problems as well. And so that, for me, has been challenging over the past 20 years, is how to reconcile what I experienced, not being able to save people that were alive, that I felt guilty over the years that perhaps I could have done more.
You are a hero whether you choose to accept it or not. Is it easy to hear that?
I mean, yes and no. It's sort of bittersweet. I'm proud of the people that we were able to carry out that survived, but there's that regret that we weren't able to do more. And I was on the team that put some of the people that we weren't able to save in body bags. And so that's something it's hard to come to terms with. Well, maybe if we had gone left instead of right, or found a way to work our way through the smoke a little better, we could have gotten to them. So, I wish I could have done more. And I think everybody that was there that day wishes that we could have done more to help more people, but we did the best we could.
Eric Jones, you're a great man. And I'm sorry I'm going to say it, whether you like it or not. And I'm really proud of you. What does your dad think about the program you're running?
It's really, it's brought he and I much closer together.
Really?
It has, and he has prostate cancer, and so he's been, facing his own challenges with that. But it's provided an opportunity for he and I to come and become much closer the last few years.
Yeah.
So it's great, and he loves it. He's a great mentor. He was a full colonel in the Air Force, and so he gets out there and he'll talk to the young men and women about what it was like in the military, or they'll ask him questions, and he has stories for days. I mean, he's been all over the world, and for him it's a great opportunity to be a mentor and to give back as a positive role model in a way that he hasn't since I was a kid.
Yeah, you grew up in Oakland. You know Oakland Can this program help shape the future of Oakland?
I believe, absolutely, I think it can. You have, first of all, the Bay Area is one of the best sailing venues in the world. I mean, we have wind all year, we have marinas everywhere, there's 100 and something yacht clubs. And so the idea is for us to develop, which we have, a working model that can then be shared to other boat owners. I mean, a lot of boat owners use their boats 2 or 3 times a year. And so the idea is, well, have a group of young adults, take them out sailing for a day or take them out fishing, bridge that gap.
Yeah.
And so I think it can. And then, you get kids talking about something exciting, something positive, instead of perhaps something negative.
Yeah.
And it's all about providing different opportunities, different choices, because at the end of the day, we're all going to make our own choices. But I think to show young adults that there are positive ways, there's positive careers, there's other people that you can surround yourself with that are doing well with their lives. So here's a choice, and here's one choice, here's another, and now you pick which path you want to go on. So that's the idea. And I think it's really important that we do this.
Yeah, I'm looking at these wonderful pictures. Now, when the children come to be a part, or young people come to be a part, did they pick which boat they get to go out on?
No, that's usually based on scheduling and who can crew. And where, if they're in San Francisco, they'll take that boat out. If they're in Berkeley, they'll take that boat. The one in Alameda is more of a racing boat, so that's a little more advanced. But we have some kids on that boat that are from the Life Learning Academy on Treasure Island, and every Friday night they're out here 6 p.m. up and down, keeping an eye out for us. But for these kids to come out and have something positive on Friday nights from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. or so, or 8 p.m., and they learn responsibility, they learn discipline. You have to get there on time, you have to be able to prep the boat, you have to learn the vocabulary, you have to learn to interact as a team. There's just so many positives that come from being part of a crew. And for instance, on that boat, we have an FBI agent, we have a district attorney, we have a firefighter, we have a teacher, we have a nurse, we have an ER doctor. So the kids that come on that boat, they really get to see a sampling of all these different careers. So that's been neat. And one of the things that's really, I didn't plan on this, but it's happened. You know how difficult the last few years have been as far as race relations in the country. And I'm mixed. And so I've seen it from both sides. Growing up with my grandfather in the Tuskegee Airmen. But there really needs to be more things that bring people together instead of things that divide us. And so what's unique about the boats is we can put people from all different backgrounds together for 4 or 5 hours, and they're working as a team, and they're looking at dolphins and whales. And in the beginning of the trip, when we're leaving the channel, you can see the groups are a little bit, some people are sitting over here, some people are sitting over here.
Right.
By the end of the trip, everybody's together, they're laughing, and it's just, there needs to be more things like that that bring communities and people together. And it's not going to fix all of our problems in the country, but it needs to start somewhere, because otherwise the divides are just going to get further and further apart. And so that's one of the nice benefits of this as well.
Now talk about the fact that you need more mentors.
We do. We need more mentors, and I'm going to have you out there. And
me, Tony Hodrick,
Yeah.
our cameraman, so someone who, now I've been on boats,
Yeah.
but I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what to do with my hands.
You don't need to. You don't need any experience because, I mean, one will teach you the basics.
Yeah.
And you know, you help raise a sail, you help take all the canvas sail covers off. So you don't need a ton of experience.
Yeah.
You really don't need any experience. You just need to be able to sit down and interact with a kid.
Yeah.
And be friendly and supportive, and you know, sometimes they'll open up about struggles in their lives, maybe with their parents, and just have fun.
Yeah.
And you know, show them that adults are not all bad, and many times a lot of them have had negative interactions, and so it's just, hey, you know, these are people that care about you and support you and want you to do well in life and succeed. Here's my business card. If you ever need anything, you know, give me a call. And that's how it's worked. But we definitely need more mentors from all different backgrounds that enjoy working with kids and can provide a, positive role models.
What's the ideal way for people to reach out to you?
Well, my phone number, the Sea Valor phone number is on the website.
Okay.
Email, really those are the best ways. And just
Okay.
call and say, hey, I'd like to come out on one of the trips and see what it's about. And if it's a good fit and if they'd like to be a mentor, then we work out another date and have them come for that.
Well, I'm congratulating you on credit for the great things that are still ahead for you. Do you have a vision for the ultimate thing you want to see come out of Sea Valor?
Yeah. So originally it was, me with one boat or two boats or three boats. It's not
Yeah.
going to make a huge difference. So the idea is to inspire other people to do something similar, whether it's in Los Angeles or Hawaii or Florida. So we want to have a working model that we can then share and say, look, these are the kinks that we've worked out.
Yeah.
This is how it works with insurance and scheduling, and you have these great boats. Link up with people in your own community, veterans, first responders, healthcare workers, kids, and do something similar. Don't let your boats just sit there and be used twice a year on 4th of July and New Year's. Take them out, once a month, and take a group of healthcare workers out, or a group of firefighters, or a group of veterans, and start rebuilding community in ways that have gotten lost. It used to be, I think, sports.
Yeah.
We go to an A's game or a Raiders game, but ticket prices these days, not everybody can afford that.
Yeah.
It's gotten cost prohibitive. So there needs to be more things within our communities that bring people together. And sailing and boating in particular, but sailing, because you have to work as a crew together. It's just been an incredible platform for that.
Well, I'm going to do my best to be one of your mentors. On your mentoring team, mentors for the young men and women.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's just a really, really great program. You're a great leader, and the people you're bringing together, as well as the young people. I love being a cheerleader for that.
Thank you.
So I wish you great things.
Well, we look forward to having you and Tony, and please come out and see what it's all about, and we'll have you as a mentor.
Well, Eric, keep doing great things. And thank you for making time to be with us here on Talk of the Town. I appreciate it very much.
Well, I appreciate you, and thank you for having me.
Our guest is Eric Jones, Sea Valor, and you ought to be a mentor for Sea Valor. Look it up and reach out to Eric Jones. I thank you for joining us. It's been our pleasure to be here. I'm Dave Clark, and I'll see you next time on Talk of the Town.